Hello and a very warm welcome to all the VLSI students. This video is going to be very important for all the students who want to design analog circuits. So we have a large circuit on left hand side of Cascode amplifier with two PMOS and two NMOS. And on right hand side of it there are four sub circuits of this circuit. So we have a voltage power supply of 1.8 volt VDD. Then we have four DC voltages connected to the gate of these four transistors to bias them. We will understand how to obtain the value of these gate voltages and how to obtain the width of these transistors. The length of all the transistors is fixed at 180 nano. So we assume the 1.8 volt is divided equally among all of these four transistors. So the source of top PMOS will be at 1.8 volt, then source of PMOS below will be 1.35 volt, the drain of middle NMOS will be at 900 millivolt and the drain of lowest NMOS will be at 450 millivolt. So I have taken the lowest NMOS separately, see on bottom right hand side. Now the drain of this NMOS will be biased by a 450 millivolt DC voltage and the voltage of gate will be 590 millivolt. Why? Because the threshold voltages of our transistor is 500 millivolt, so we will add 90 millivolt more to ensure that this NMOS is in saturation. So I want to have a current of at least 150 micro to 180 micro range from this circuit. Also, I have taken the width of this NMOS as variable and we will vary it from 1 micro to 50 micro and obtain the value of the width for desired current to flow. So we will do DC analysis for this small circuit first. Now there is a question for you also. Suppose if two identical MOSFETs with width W and length capital L are in parallel, then what can we say about their equivalent width and equivalent length? Comment the answer in comment box. Also comment if you want me to make more to ask more such questions in between the video. So also please like and share the video and subscribe the channel for more such quality VLSI videos. And comment what you want to see the next topic covered in this channel. So I will plot the drain current for this NMOS. Let us see what the curve we get. So we are getting a curve of drain current versus width. So we can observe that we will need at least 10 micro width to get a current of our desired range between 150 micro to 180 190 micro. So we will fix the width of this NMOS at 11 micro and proceed for the second NMOS. So now focus on the circuit at middle in the bottom with two NMOS. So for the second NMOS, the gate voltage will be 1.04 volt because we know that its source is at 450 millivolt. So we will add 590 millivolt to get 1.04 volt and its drain will be at 900 millivolt. We will repeat exact same procedure to obtain its width also to get the desired current. Also, we can optimize the circuit more at later stages. For analog circuits, we have to keep optimizing them to reduce the area and get maximum performance. When we initially design, then the circuit will be at 90% optimized only. So we have to try iteratively to go from 90% to 99% optimization. So we are repeating the same procedure. I am again sweeping the width from 1 micro to 50 micro for the second NMOS also to get the width. So So we will plot its drain current. Now we can see from the curve I am getting that although the current is below 100 micro, but we can see that we will need at least 25 micro width to get the maximum current from this NMOS, and above 28 micro the change is very small. So we will need the width to be about 25 micro to 30 micro for this NMOS. So now we have gotten the width for the two NMOS. So next we will proceed for designing the PMOS section. So we will choose its width as 26.5 micro, and also we can vary the gate voltages slightly to have the best optimization. So now we will proceed towards designing the PMOS section. So for PMOS section we will always start from the top PMOS. For NMOS we start from the bottom PMOS, but for PMOS section we will start from the top PMOS, because we know its source will be at 1.8 volt exactly. We know the source voltage of top PMOS exactly. Also we will choose the gate at 1.21 volt, because again the threshold voltage of our transistor is 500 millivolt and we take 90 millivolt more for ensuring saturation. So 1.8 minus 590 will give 1.21, and its source will be at 1.35 volt, because we are assuming the voltage drop across all the transistors is exactly same. So 1.8 divided by 4 is 450 millivolt. Hence the source will be at 1.35 volt. So again we will sweep the width from 1 micro to 50 micro. Also there is a good tip or trick also you can say. So if you have any transistor whose width is more than 25 micro, then you can choose the fingers as 2. So if you choose the fingers as 2, then whatever the width you get will be doubled. So if your width is say 10 micro and you choose the fingers as 2, then your exact width will be 20 micro. So again here we can see that we will need this PMOS to be at least 25 micro for the desired current to flow. So initially we will keep it at 50 micro. We will choose the width fingers as 2. So and each finger width will be 25 micro. So total width will be 50 micro. So initially we will fix this PMOS at 50 micro. Then we can later we will optimize it more if we need, because we need our circuit to have minimum area and maximum performance. So now for second PMOS, the gate will be at 1.21 minus 0.45 millivolt. So around 700 to 750 millivolt, and its source will be at 900 millivolt. So see the circuit on top on right hand side where we have the two PMOS, and for the second PMOS we are obtaining its width. So again the same procedure will be repeated. We will vary the width from 1 micro to 50 micro to see the value at which we are getting the desired current. So please like and share the video and subscribe the channel. Also share with your friends also, so that we will get more subscribers. And your feedback always motivates us to make more quality content. So I will try to make more videos on VLSI projects, because I know that many students comment me to make more videos on VLSI projects, as it helps them a lot. So now for this PMOS also we will plot its current. So save the DC operating point. So for this PMOS also I will take the width as around 70 micro initially. Now we have obtained the width of all the PMOS, and we will see that are we getting all the transistors in saturation. So you can see this procedure. We are doing a dummy DC analysis and we will go to results and annotate DC operating points. So we can see that all our transistors are in region 2. This means that all the transistors are in saturation. So now let us try to reduce the width of the top PMOS. So now we are reducing the width as 30 micro, earlier it was 50 micro, and let's see whether any operating region changes. Earlier all the transistors were in saturation. So now we can see that when we reduce the width of the top PMOS, then the bottom NMOS transistors go into region 1. So they are no longer in saturation. Hence for top PMOS we cannot change its width, so we will have to fix it at 50 micro. Now let us see what happens when we reduce the width of the second transistor, second PMOS. So earlier its width is 70 micro. Let us try to reduce the width because we want to have as low area as possible. So again we will check and save, and again we will do the dummy DC analysis and plot the DC operating points. So we can see that the region is still 2 for all the transistors. So we can see that even if we reduce the width of the second PMOS, still our transistors are in saturation. So in this way we can optimize our circuit more and more. So also we can see that we are getting a current of about 170 micro. The drain current of the circuit is 170 micro. So this is in our desired range between 150 micro to 180 micro. If we want more current, then we have to make the width as more. So thank you for watching this video. Please like and share the video and subscribe the channel.